Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. It's lovely to see so many of you here. My name is Amanda Udis Kessler, and I'm the pastor here at Vista Grande Community Church, United Church of Christ. It is my honor to be with you as we celebrate the extraordinary life of Jerima King. I'm deeply grateful to all of you for being here today. Your presence is an affirmation of your love for Jerima and your support for one another. Jerima is an incredible person whose deep impact as a community member, worker for justice, advocate for the devalued, and tireless prophetic voice has created an indelible legacy that will not soon be forgotten. So today we pause to celebrate Jerima and to acknowledge the blessing she is to each person gathered here and to other family and friends in this community and beyond. Before we begin, I invite you to take a moment and look around. Notice the people gathered physically and virtually today. We are from many different walks of life, and we have had a wide range of experiences. There are secular people gathered here today to celebrate Jerima, as well as people of faith. And while I am a pastor and this celebration is happening in a church, I assure those of you who are not religious that we want you to feel fully welcomed here today. Every Sunday I begin our service by reminding the gathered community that everyone is welcome here no matter who you are and no matter where you are on life's journey. And today I'd like to add that everyone is welcome here no matter what you do or do not believe. I probably should say that every Sunday, maybe I will, but I certainly do need to say it today. Now, we will celebrate communion later, and everyone who would like to participate is welcome to do so. You don't have to believe anything or identify as part of a religious tradition to participate. If you prefer not to participate, that's absolutely fine. No judgment. For the next 25 minutes or so, we will have some informal time to watch the slideshow that Bill has so thoughtfully put together, to interact with Jerima and one another, and to enjoy some food. So the sweets are at the back of this room. The savory is partway down on the left. Very important, there are 2 gendered bathrooms on this level behind the back wall and 2 gender-neutral bathrooms on the lowest level off to the side of the kitchen. Please be aware that the formal part of this, not this next part, but where we actually do blessings and formal sharings and communion, all of that is going to be video recorded because some people wanted to be here and could not be. So be aware that if you stand up to speak, that is going to be video recorded. I hope that will not keep anyone from getting up and sharing their appreciations. I will call us back together for the formal celebration at about 4:30, but for now, please interact with Jerima and one another, enjoy the food, enjoy the slideshow, and once again, welcome to Vista Grande Community Church. At this time, I'd like to open our formal celebration with a blessing. May the Spirit of love, known by more names than we can imagine, open our hearts today and make the sacred time of connection a deeply meaningful experience for all of us as we honor our beloved Jerima. I mean it as the highest possible compliment when I say that Jerima embodies both the best of secular humanism and the best of prophetic Christianity. What, after all, is secular humanism at its apex, if not a commitment to the well-being of all humanity? Indeed, that commitment to people which is rightly suspicious of any religious tradition that treats people badly, is particularly attentive to those who are devalued, disempowered, and treated unfairly. And in this sense, Jerima is the best kind of humanist, one whose passion for justice has led her to advocate for multiple devalued groups, to put her body on the line against cruelty, and to provide direct care and support to struggling people in a wide range of circumstances. Indeed, the Jerima cutout that people continue to take to political actions shows that even after Jerima does not have the strength to be physically present at such events, she is present in more than just spirit. But Jerima is also a Christ figure for our time, lovingly impatient with cruelty, callousness, and every political and economic system that causes harm. Like Jesus, Jerima knows bullshit when she sees it, and she is unafraid to call it out. Like Jesus, Jerima lives by the two commandments that Jesus called most important: loving God and loving humanity. And Jerima has taken on the demands passed down to Christianity from the Jewish wisdom tradition and the Jewish prophetic tradition, both of which influenced the life and work of Jesus. We see these demands clearly in Proverbs 31, verses 8 and 9, which instruct us to speak out for those who cannot speak, for the rights of all the destitute. Speak out, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and needy. Jerima has spoken out time and time again and has defended the rights of the poor and needy tirelessly. Proverbs represents the Jewish wisdom tradition, which is interwoven with the Jewish prophetic tradition. And the prophetic tradition is well represented by the writings of the prophet Micah. And if you got a program for today, the description of Jerima on the first page is actually taken from the verse I'm about to read. This is Micah 6:8, which I have modified to make the language inclusive. And in this, the prophet reminds Israel about what is important to God. The verse reads, "God has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does God require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God?" And by the way, members of the United Church of Christ, which is the denomination that this church is in, we sometimes refer to that verse as the UCC fight song. So you can get a sense of our commitment to justice from that. But if that is what God requires of us, Jerima has met those requirements time and time and time again, doing justice, loving kindness, and journeying in humility. And in so doing, she is a model to all of us, those of us who love humanity from within the meaning system of a faith tradition, and those of us who love humanity as secular people. And at that, I'd like to invite a couple of folks who are sitting in the front to stand up and face the room, because they are wearing t-shirts that in my wildest dreams I could not have anticipated. Please stand up and face the room. And for the folks on Zoom, in case you cannot see, the t-shirt reads, "What would Jerima do?" So this is a new version of WWJD, and if you would like to get If you'd like to get a WWJD bracelet, now it can stand for two things, not just one. Thank you both so much. Others at the gathering will tell the personal stories that bring us to laughter and to tears. Those stories are crucially important. But before I invite the Reverend Deborah Tinsley to introduce the time of formal sharing, I want to offer my own thank you to Jerima. Profunda gratitud por encarnar el amor de Cristo hacia aquellos odiados por los poderosos y por mostrarnos cómo vivir al modo de Jesús en nuestro tiempo y lugar. En inglés, deep thanks for embodying the love of Christ to those hated by the powerful, and for showing us how to live the Jesus way in our time and place. And now I'd like to welcome Reverend Deborah Tinsley.
Greetings all, good afternoon. So glad you're all here in support and love and care for our dear Jerima. It means a lot to the family and to us who have grown so close to her. Each of us here knows Jerima in a different way, a different part of her life. You might say we have individual snapshots or videos. Of course, the family knows the arc of her life. But for those of us here, we share a love of Jerima, but maybe not the same way of knowing her. I've known Jerima since, I think, the early 20s. She was the most incredible Spanish teacher I've ever had in my almost lifelong urge to learn Spanish. And she came the closest to getting the job done, let me tell you. I've never met a language teacher, not of English, Spanish, or French, where I learned more about the language and the cultures and the way of bringing some life into the language. She was amazing. Then this relationship grew out of a sort of traumatic event I had when I was seeing a psychologist for a traumatic injury from a mugging, and Jerima suggested that I write the young man a letter. And she had me work on it and work on it and work on it. And it wasn't the psychologist that helped me move through and reduce the PTSD. It was Jerima. What I learned from Jerima over time was there's an underlining theology in her life, and that is that Jerima has the heart of a servant leader. She's not afraid to offer herself, and she did, in any group that she was involved with. We, the covenantal partners of Vista Grande, were honored when she showed up for a few services and decided to work out her faith journey here with us. Her activism on the behalf of those with less power, she chose this place to do it, and that's special. In our society, Jerima for a long time has worked here and influenced what we did here. I like to think that it was my influence on her that made her decide to do that. So I'd like to think that, but I don't think that's what it was. I think she found kindred spirits wanting to do things in the world to bring about the kingdom of God, or kingdom of God, as we say here, closer, bring it down to earth, bring it to one another. And she did that by practicing her peace and justice work here and in our community. She got our church more involved in activism, if that was possible. Mission has always been very, very strong here. And she increased the relationship and the depth of our missions to many different groups in town. She got me to join Indivisible and start not just showing up for protests, but actually help get them going, get them put on. And that's a lot, because time commitment, you know all about that. She started a mission to the unhoused with the very practical idea of putting together brown bag lunches, ones that they could take with them that would be able to eat later in the day that wouldn't go bad. And she did that out of the church. Practical things, helpful things. And she did that first down at the Tejon Street Bridge, South Tejon, till the police chased him out of there. And then at Dorchester Park, till the police chased him out of there and closed the park. And now at the shelter on Sierra Madre, on the sidewalk where the police can't chase him out of there. So she never gives up. I mentioned covenantal partners. We don't call the people in our church members intentionally. We chose to say covenantal partners because we recognize that when somebody comes into the church, they change the church as we influence them and change them. So together, we're walking in a covenant to develop our faith journey. And we've had people that were Buddhist, and we still have people that are unfaithed in terms of religion, but very avidly in terms of making a difference in the world. And that's okay, because that's why we're here. I think Jerima was much more of a certain type of servant leader. She really changed us. She got us more involved, more active, more hands-on. She's the kind of person that you might fear a road that you don't know, but then she puts out her hand and she does that Jerima smile, and you find yourself trusting her that you're about to have a terrific adventure. And you will, as we have. So while I've always struggled with that old trope of God as a white-haired old man, I really have no problem seeing God as a real feisty little Panamanian woman, you know. She's made a really big difference here. She has touched us, and we have grown. I don't think we can sum up the life of another person in mere words. We can't capture all the gratitude for Jerima being in our lives, for her life. All I very briefly touched on, and much more, make up this unique and precious person. And each one here has their special thoughts and adventures, experiences of her. And this time together is our chance to share that with one another, to sort of flesh out the fullness of Jerima for one another. And if you'd like to, we'd really like to have that sharing. I want those of you that are nervous about talking in public, please, you're not in public. You're in a very select gathering of people that know, appreciate, and love Jerima. And we all want to hear what you have to say. If you want to share a memory, a time, a thought, an observation, please do so. I think we might start with someone that knows her maybe a little bit better than all of us, and that would be Bill. And Bill, when you come up, remember, you hear this every Sunday. Eat the mic so people on Zoom can hear you. Okay.
So, of course, I know Jerima pretty good. And I'm not really going to concentrate on the items and adventures and protests that you are going to talk about. I'm going to talk to you about how I began to know her, how she came to me, how I need to eat the mic. So, first of all, I want to start with a big thank you to Vista Grande United Church of Christ for making this day a reality. Everybody up front, in the back, whoever is involved that I don't know, very, 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 very thankful. It's unbelievable. It's wonderful to see so many people here. And I do have to apologize for my grumpiness at times that some people had to experience when things are going on in my life, as well as this happening. I hope you can give me grace for that. but this wonderful event that both Vista Grande and Loving Supporters have given to both Jerima and I today will never, ever be forgotten. The people in Vista Grande, the people out here, the people out there, it's just a wonderful thing. So again, I'm not talking about her accomplishments so much as what I'm going to tell about her and me. And it starts with 1973, when Jerima and I met because she came to Iowa as an exchange student. And it was a mistake. She wasn't supposed to come to Iowa. But lucky me, I could tell that she was an outgoing and friendly person by the way she was always smiling and surrounded by her friends in a hallway. And trust me, I only noticed her because I felt that, as a Senate president, I needed to keep track of these kind of things. I mean, it wasn't anything else. I was doing my job. We formally met, however, in a Lutheran youth conference in the city where I was an organizer there. We initially ended up in the same breakout room with a Spanish-speaking missionary who shared his experiences doing his missionary work. And then at the one time he stopped and said to her, complimented her on how nice she looked and how nice she was. And I, as a C average Spanish student, I knew just enough what he said. And I said, yes, indeed, and embarrassed her. We danced that day in this conference. And while her and I disagree what we danced to, I'm going to take my story because it's more fun. And we danced to our song, Just You and Me, Chicago. And that's our song, and you heard it if you were listening today. We escaped from the indoor activities and walked around and strolled and talked and chatted around the church. And she told me that she went to the same, I told her she went to the same school that I did. And she said, well, I don't believe you. But remember, I'm the Senate president. I knew what was going on in my school. So we met the next day in front of the school, and we dated the rest of the year there. I'm going to give you some memories because they're just fun memories for me. They may not mean much to you, but I'll never forget. I was in a band and football season was starting, and I'm playing in the band and in the bleachers when the game is going on. And I had a friend, a drum major, that was scout when the conductor was away, and I would skimmy down inside the rafters and go out and visit her in the middle of the concessionary while stuff was going on. And then I'd sneak back in when the drum major said I could come. So that was an exciting times that we had at football games. We didn't have a very good record, but that didn't matter. Another example was we both shared the same biology teacher, but not in the same class. And one day we were both in front of his classroom, chatting around, just having a good time. The biology teacher comes out and says, "Hey, that Bill King has some hot lips, doesn't he?" And I cannot to this day understand why she got so embarrassed about that. He was talking about my trumpet abilities, not. So. Christmas season came along in the school, and the school administration said everybody could dress up in an outfit for the Christmas season. Well, gullible Miss Jerima, in her own words, was the only person in school that dressed up. And she was in a nice green leotard elf outfit that today I will never forget the green, nice elf that I knew. And even though the yearbook had that picture, it was in black and white, I'll never forget my green elf. After school was over and done with, my folks had to entice me to go to Minnesota on vacation to my grandmother's cabin for the summer by saying that they would invite Jerima to go with us. So that was another wonderful time that I won't get into, but it was a good time on a lake. The saddest memory of my high school years was the day that I had to say goodbye to her because she's going back to Panama. Cried my eyes out like I'm doing now. But anyway, those are good memories that we had. And it didn't stop there, because when she went to Panama, we weren't done being together. We developed a long-distance relationship. Once a month, I would get a roll of $20 quarters, plug them into the payphone and call her for however many minutes it was, and we do that on a monthly basis. In 1976, with only $25 in my pocket, which was given to me by my supervisor because I had no money on me, I went to Panama to marry the most beautiful woman in the world. On my way there, the flight was delayed hours and hours and hours and hours. I thought I was never going to get there. And when I got there, it was wonderful, but I had no money in my pocket. So what happened? Her mother, Hilda, had to buy the wedding rings for us. Wasn't that love? We ended up getting a civil marriage first in Panama because that's what we needed to do to get the paperwork started to get her back in the States so that we can get the Panamanians government to understand that we were married and we're going back to the States to live together. Then we had to deal with the embassy, and we waited till the last minute before we knew for sure that she was going on a flight with me back home. After the civil wedding, we got married in the Canal Lutheran Church, where she had to take classes in order for us to get married there. So it was no easy feat for her. She had to work hard for us to be together. On our way back, we flew back, obviously, in first class. To this day, I don't know if it was because they felt bad for all the delays that they gave me coming down or going down, or was it because I had this beautiful, smiling woman with me? So I kind of lean towards the second one. We all know that Jerima is passionate and compassionate and a warrior. It's been that way from the time she started her first job as a software engineer. In fact, while working on a GPS system, she got the label as Tiger Lady. Tiger Lady, that sounds pretty close to what she is, huh? And they even made a desk name tag for her with that title. So she's been that way, she's been the way she is for a long, long time. While it served her well as a social justice advocate, I fear that she had to develop those skills to deal with me. I'm so proud of her with all the nothing but good that she has done in all aspects of her life. I regret I wasn't good as I could have been, but she doesn't live in the past, and I'm so fortunate to have her with me. She's my shining star, and I'll argue with anybody saying that she's the most beautiful woman inside and out. Today, Jerima is in front and center, as my son Adam says, as it should be. As it should be. Te quiero, Jerima baby.
For those of you who'd like to share, we do have the mic, and I'll put my phone back on and I'll count my steps. How's
Acércate lo más que puedes.
Soy tan grande. Desde muy pequeña, Jerima se encargó de cuidar a sus hermanos.
Since she was very young, Jerima took care of her siblings, all 512 of us.
Okay.
No, just 6 of us.
Sí. 5, sí. Ella estaba pendiente de todo.
She was always very in the moment, paying attention to things.
Y en alguna ocasión, cuando Yasmina estaba muy pequeña, le dije que no la sacara de la cuna.
So, in one occasion, when the youngest of the girls was at home and mom had to go look for something else or do something else, she asked her to leave Jasmina in her cradle.
Yasmina tenía 2 meses,
She
2
was-
months old.
she was 2 months old.
Yes. Yo salía para el trabajo, pero tuve que regresar. Y cuando encuentro a esta niña bajando la escalera con la bebé.
So, mom had left for work, trusting Jerima to take care of her baby, 2-month-old sister, and she forgot something, so she came back to the house, and as soon as she opens the door, who's coming down the stairs with the baby in her hands? It's Jerima.
Siempre estuvo pendiente de sus hermanitos. Y cuando se ofreció la oportunidad de un viaje a los Estados Unidos en un intercambio estudiantil, me pareció una excelente idea mandarla.
So she took the role of being the older sister very, very much to heart. And we all knew it, and mom was very aware of that. So when the opportunity came up for her to go into an international exchange program to the United States, mom thought it would be a good idea to let her be a young person and have her own adventure. Little did she know that she was going to make Bill. She didn't say that part.
Yo quería que ella tuviera la experiencia de ser una niña y no estar cuidando a otros niños, ¿no? Pero como ninguna buena intención queda sin castigo, la mandé para acá y se encontró con Bill. Y hasta ahí llegó.
So it really was her intention to have Jerima spend some time without the cadre of siblings and other things to take care of in the house, and just spend a year being a high school student, having fun in high school things in a state of Iowa. And since no good deed goes unpunished, Jerima met Bill and decided that she needed to come back.
Pero bueno, la ha pasado muy bien acá, ha hecho muchas cosas. Siempre pudimos estarnos viendo todos los años, 1 o 2 veces al año. Y ella tiene la cualidad de que uno deja de verla 6 meses, pero cuando la encuentra es como si lo hubiera visto el día antes.
Dame chance.
Sí.
No sé muy- I can't remember all that. ¿Cómo fue? Que comenzaste de que...
Bueno, que ella vino
Oh,
acá,
so
ella vino
she gets married and she comes here to live her life in the U.S. But she remains in touch. Mom got to spend time with the Kings several times a year, whenever that was possible, and we got to see how the King family grew together and had their own adventures professionally and as a family, and we were all very comfortable that Jerry and Bill were a good match. And Mom was very happy that Bill always welcomed the family. Bill and Jerry welcomed the family, and Mom got to travel to the U.S. on many occasions, go on many trips, do a lot of sightseeing, across many years.
Hicimos siempre lo posible por hacer paseos juntas.
They always were trying to figure out ways to do these trips.
El último fue a Islandia en un crucero, con Bill también.
The last trip they had was a cruise to Iceland, and Bill was there taking care of them.
Yes. Y después de eso vino el COVID.
Then COVID came.
So, así que dejamos de vernos hasta cuando ella viajó ya enferma a mi cumpleaños número 90. ¿no?
So COVID brought a distance that had not happened before, because there were frequent exchanges where Jerry would travel to Panama, or Mom would come here, or one of us would travel up here. And COVID generated that distance, and the next time that Jerry was able to come to Panama, she had already been diagnosed with this awful disease. ¿Qué más?
Ahora le agradezco a Dios la oportunidad de haber podido viajar, no solamente a despedirme de ella, sino a conocer gente tan hermosa como ustedes y saber que cuando regreso a Panamá no la dejo sola. No la dejo sola con Bill, sino con mucha gente que la quiere.
So she's very happy that she had the chance to come and see Jerima and be with Jerima and see many of you that have visited with her, and now see many more of you here, and know that as we return to Panama, we're not leaving her alone, and her alone with Bill, and to be fending for themselves. There's this wonderful community of people that love her and that admire her work, and that fills us with some peace in knowing that this community exists. Yeah. Okay, so I'll say some quick things too.
Okay.
So Jerry has always been my older sister. She, in ways that I only realize now, I didn't have to take charge of hardly anything, because she assumed the role, so I could be a goof, and I could joke around. Something that I did all my life with all my siblings and then with all my nieces and nephews. I was that uncle that had fun with the kids and was always joking around. And like Jerry, I too came to the U.S. as an exchange student, and that changed my life as well. I didn't meet Bill, he was already taken. But I did have a wonderful, wonderful time that really helped me grow. And in all of that period of time as I was a child, with Jerima sort of taking charge and being a pain in the butt because she thought she was Mom, in reality she was doing a fantastic job at making sure that we were all in good shape. And she was always like the grade A student, and I was always like the goof that barely studied and still got good grades. And throughout all those years, she was she was there for all of us, you know. She made sure that everybody had to do homeworks except me. And she also made sure that Mom was good, in good shape, because she was always Mom's assistant. In the call are some of our siblings and some of our relatives, and they all know that Jerry has played this incredible role. And in spite of the fact that she left Panama when she was 18, that's like forever, she has always been there present. And whenever she showed up, it was like we had just seen her last week. and we always stayed in touch. And her presence, she made her presence known. Now, like many families, we had our hiccups, we had our nerds, and we had our boneheads, and not everything is hunky-dory. But at the end, what I do believe is that, our parents inspired us in the humanism that you were talking about, and in the spirit of solidarity. And I see all of those things in all of us in the family. And Jerry took that with her and brought that to all of you to share with you. I love you, Jerry. I love you.
I have something from some of Jerima's friends here that are traveling right now. Very upset we chose this date. Dear Jerima, although we did not know each other well, I've always admired your passion, spirit, and warmth. What I have observed, you show you care and advocate for other people in such a positively infectious way. You're memorable for these reasons. I truly appreciate your impact in the larger community in all the small and big ways. Organizing, advocacy, standing up for your beliefs, caring for and sharing your concern for other people who may otherwise be disadvantaged in this society or in hard times. I'm grateful to know you through VGUCC, and that you are loved by so many. Your spirit is stronger than life, and your impact will live long. With admiration and appreciation, Audrey Miles Cheney, on behalf of Luke, Eve, and Sage, that we all call Bridget Cheney. Thank you. I want to have Bill take this. And who else would like to come up? You would like to come up? Okay, I need to get the mic. Okay. Everything is electronic these days.
I'm sorry I can't speak very well, but I want you all to know that even though I sound I'm a very person, I have been arrested 2 times. And that's my passion, honor. I told the police one time I will never ask for your permission to protest.
And you went to jail.
Yes. I had to do community service and the place where I did community service told me that the next the next time I was going to protest against arrest.
We tried to make it 3, didn't we? I did remind her I was pushing the wheelchair. I never told you this, but John said he got $500 cash to bail us out. He was thinking we were going to do it too. But it was a peaceful protest, and we couldn't lie down in the street. So I think it's very ironic that they give Jerima community service like it's a bad thing. That was crazy. Yeah, to get it again. Who else would like to share? Okay, could you come up here? I'm taped to the floor here.
Hi, my name is Willow, and Jerima calls my husband Adam and I her arrest buddies. So it was at one of these demonstrations where we had gathered downtown at City Hall to protest families being separated at the border. And I think this was 2018, if I remember correctly. Some people in this room were there. And we had decided ahead of time that if anybody was willing to stay and be arrested, then we would block traffic. So I think there were 5 or 6 of us who walked out in the street, and Adam, I didn't know Jerima at that time, and he saw her and said, "Oh, that was my Spanish teacher at the library." Oh, she was so great, she was the best teacher. And so we went out, and Jerima had made a beautiful banner that said, "Families belong together." And so we all stood there, and we're holding this. Cops came out, they were holding rifles on us and threatening to tear gas us, and I really admired Jerima. We decided to lay down and link arms in the street, and it was, a really powerful experience. And the thing I wanted to share is, while we were standing there holding the banner and a cop came out to try to get us out of the street, he was like, "Hi, Jerima." He remembered her from other protests that she'd been at. And I was like, I want to know this person. And so then we became friends on social media after that. And then I learned about the group that she had started with this church called Spreading Smiles and Sandwiches. And just learned that they were distributing food and supplies to unhoused people and the vulnerable people in our community. And so for a while I was donating, but I never actually went out for a while. And then Jerima said she and Bill were planning on maybe moving, and so she's like, "This might be my last time." So like, Kaya and Joyce, hi, I saw you on Zoom. So that's the first time Adam and I went down, and she kind of gave us a little lecture. She looked at us and she's like, "You're not just here for me, right? You're here for your community, and because you actually want to do this, right?" And we're like, "Yes." And so ever since then, we've kept it going, and I just hope that Jerima's legacy of community service and truly loving and serving the least of these, the most vulnerable people in our community, like I will carry that on in my life, and I know that so many other people will.
Thank you, Willow. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Sienna, and I met Jerima when we started organizing the Sanctuary Coalition. We then worked together for many years through the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition. And I can say, as we all know, that Jerima was the most outstanding member that we had. She not only showed up at any hour of the day or night, as I'm sure her family knows, to help us out. She really used her skills as an interpreter, her ability to communicate across languages to open doors for people. And I was really touched, Jerima, as an immigrant herself, always encouraged the people who were undocumented. She always gave space to undocumented folks in our coalition first, and always used the privilege that she had to open doors for people who are less fortunate. And the final thing I want to share is that, Jerima, in these advocacy spaces, we were sometimes in really intense meetings or in tense protests or intense discussions, and Jerima always brought a really joyful energy to our organizing spaces. It's like she always knew that resistance had to also be joyful, that our movements had to also be filled with love for one another, with the joy of connection, that what we're doing is building a different world that's beautiful together. And I think the energy that she brought was always positive, and it always helped us stay kind of with our eyes on the prize, focused on the big picture, and focused and unified together. So that's something that I will certainly be carrying forward, along with so much else that I've learned from her. And all of the people at CIRC whose lives have been touched by Jerima are sending their thoughts and prayers.
Thank you.
I'm John Lynn, and I plan to just sit and listen. But Jerima and I have spoken so much together over the years. I was her student, one of her many, many students, so I thought a student should stand up and say a word or two in English. Don't worry. Jerima took over our particular group, though she had many groups of students after our teacher left. We used to meet at the Foreign Language Center, then in the basements of churches and students' homes, and finally her home. Every week we would look forward to being together, and Jerima would, to prompt a conversation, she would get from the internet cards, tarjetas, and that had questions, and questions about your dreams, questions about what countries you would like to visit. There were questions about character and questions that led to discussions of politics and life philosophy. And it sounds kind of heavy, but we always laughed our way through the lessons and had so much fun. One time during the pandemic on Zoom, I was doing on the call in my partner's basement, and Monica heard me and us laughing so much, she brought a margarita down to me to, I guess, enhance the fun more. Monica was from Italy and didn't know anything about margaritas, so she bought a bottle of margaritas with the tequila in it, poured it, and then she thought, well, margaritas have tequila in them, so she then poured tequila on top of the tequila that was already there. And so my Spanish got sloppier and sloppier, and Jerima was gracious in correcting me. But although I never got arrested with her, and I think I missed out on more fun there, I did used to see Jerima at the protests downtown by the courthouse, which happened frequently, and she was always an inspiration to me in so many ways. And most importantly, I always considered her a very dear friend of mine. So thank you for all that you did for us and for the good times we shared. Te amo.
Thank you, John.
Hi, my name's Rob Forzon. I always know her as Jerry, and I hear her Rima, but I've always known her as Jerry. When I first came here in the Air Force as a 19-year-old idiot, the first person I met when I walked into the office was Jerry, poring over some data sheet or something. And my background was I wanted to be a mechanic. Somehow I ended up a software engineer. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And it's one of my first memories, and probably one of my fondest memories, is I walked in her deer in the headlights, didn't know what I was doing, and this person was, obviously the stories that you hear are all, they're the theme, right? She's always reaching out to help people, even people who maybe not be, marginalized, but are dumb. That would have been me. And that stuck with me, and that's why I remember it so well, because the lessons, as my first mentor, there are lessons that I use today, still working on GPS, and leading large teams and building big systems and doing all kinds of important stuff, will never be as important as what Jerry did for me that first day I walked into the office. And I think about it often, and I also think about Bill and Jerry when my wife and I got married. I might have had $250 in my pocket when I proposed to Laura, but when we got back, and I just what happened, they actually invited us over to their house, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a Boboli pizza crust, and we made your own pizza, and we did your own thing, and it's like, well, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Again, I'm 19, 20 years old, so, but that's just who they are, right? And that's who she is, and that's what she means to me, and I love you dearly, and I am happy to be here for you, and I'm happy that you are here today, and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
He really was a
¿Un tonto? Un tonto. Pues traduzco para mí misma y mi amiga hermana Jerima. I'll translate for both of us. Ni me acuerdo cómo nos conocimos. I don't remember exactly. Tenía que ver con Blackbird, ¿no? Sí, otros tontos. We worked in homeless outreach together. She made me way braver than I was to begin with. Yo no fui brava saliendo a los campos, ayudando a la gente, and I still haven't been arrested, and if I do get arrested, it won't be for anything as cool as her. It'll probably be something tonta. Es que esta celebración, ¿quieres decir algo?
Creo que había un par que la policía no quería que there was a park where the cops didn't
Can't do this anymore. Y yo dije, ¿tenemos derechos o?
we wanted the homeless people to be and this park and
No trabajas tanto, hermana. Luego hablamos, okay? I think what she's saying is, we went to a park. I got to go to sandwiches, Smiles and Sandwiches. Oh, Smiles and Sandwiches also, and I think they told us we couldn't be there. And us little badasses, en nuestras fuerzas decimos, this is our space. You can't do anything. But see, I wouldn't have gotten arrested. I would have. Entonces, agradezco la oportunidad de estar con una amiga que nos va a dejar. I'm grateful to be with a friend that I know is going to leave us. Y estos zapatos, mira, we both have the slides. They're very big shoes to fill for this little lady, so her inspiration will live on and on and on. And gratefully we're here to tell you how much we love you.
gracias a todos.
Nos queremos mucho a ti.
Joyce, is that your hand? Would you like to speak? There she is.
Yeah. All right. Oh, gosh, I agree with so much everyone said. But Rima, you really inspired me to, instead of just giving money to help with our local missions, to get out there and especially to serve with spreading smiles and sandwiches. And I'm so glad I did. I met so many great people like Willow and others, and going to keep doing it. I enjoy it. And also to go to the No Kings marches. And I got the privilege to push you in your wheelchair to the last one. And that was fun. And yeah, I just wish I could do as much as you do. And I try, but like your last friend said, you have big shoes to fill with those tiny feet. And I just wish so much I could have been there today, but I'm glad I could be here on Zoom, and I just love you and sending lots of hugs and love to you and Bill and your family and the community there.
Thank you, Joyce. We appreciate it. Big shoes to fill. That's for sure. Who? Oh, Taken. Where's Taken? There's Taken.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we
Since
can.
I've used Zoom. So, Jerima, I just I wanted to say how grateful I am to have gotten to know you, and that even if it was just for a very short time, you have been such an inspiration to me with your resilience, your strength, your light. I didn't know you for very long before you were diagnosed and that, but even after you were, you've just powered through, and I am so grateful to have known you, and I hope to someday inspire half as many people as you have.
Good to see you, Taken. Take care. Cayenne is there. Do you want to say something? You're waving at Taken. Hey, Cayenne.
Good afternoon. Um, so there's a lot to be said, and I believe that based on who you are, Harima, and your impact on the world, via each individual relationship that you have established, that I don't need to say all that needs to be said. What I need to say is that I hold you, have held you, and will continue to hold you as a marker for what it looks like to make an impact. And not solely because you are a person who does that, but because you have provided me with a constant blueprint of I just bring my best self and everybody else along, and that's how things get done. And for that, I will always, always be grateful for our relationship. And the world is better because of that piece of you that you have never ceased to share since I first made your acquaintance. I love you dearly.
Thank you, Cayenne. Anyone else? Did I hear somebody offer? Okay, you can unmute. Huh. Okay, who's waving? I'm sorry, it's dark. Is that Amy? Okay, I have unmute.
Okay. Are we unmuted?
You are unmuted. Oh, and Stephanie.
And Stephanie's here too.
Oh, there's Mom. Hi, Carolyn. Harima's waving.
Okay. Do I go? Yeah, I'll go. Okay. Well, hola, mi amiga. Hi, my dear friend. Oh, I actually met Jerima at the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind first because she did a lot of interpreting for families coming to attend there. And it was such a joy to meet Jerima then at Vista Grand as well and get to know her in these different ways. And the difference that she made for families coming to CSDB and how she's just so full of joy and excitement to introduce families to a place like CSDB, to make sure families knew that we could be a place of education for their children who are visually impaired and blind or deaf or hard of hearing. That she just really did so much to make families feel welcome there. And I know there are other people that work there at CSDB who just have their lives have been brightened by Jerima. Just like all of us here, our lives are so much brighter because Jerima is in them. Jerima, that's just the way it is. And maybe others of you know about your to say instead of de nada in Spanish for saying you're welcome when people say thank you. Had another to say instead of de nada, but to say es un placer. It's a pleasure. God, that's Jerima. Es un placer. It's a pleasure. I say what everyone else has already said about your joyful energy. That's you. Just everything about you is this bright light here on earth for us. And I know you will be the bright light in heaven when that happens. And we will be better for having an angel like you in heaven. Te quiero, mi amiguita. Te quiero, te quiero, te quiero. I love you, love you, love you, dear friend.
Thank you.
Hi. Well, Amy is always a hard act to follow. But Jerima, I just want to say I'm just so grateful for the friendship that you have given my mom and my sister and my dad. It's just been well, a real bright spot, and you've brought a lot of joy to my family. So thank you. Keep being you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Is there a hand up? No. Okay, thank you. I want to thank everybody for taking part, for being here, and for sharing your thoughts, for sharing some strong emotions with other people who are sharing those emotions that come from love. There'll be some time at the reception afterwards, following this gathering, for you to share even more with Jerima and with each other, and I hope you do. I believe that if we filled this whole space with all of our words, we wouldn't be able to say enough. We're very blessed to have these thoughts and relationships to draw on, to hold in our hearts, for it is in remembering that you cheat death of its power, and that which is remembered never dies. God's love and grace shines in our Jerima, and God's grace is that we will remember that light in our lives, for all our lives. Margaret Mead was a renowned cultural anthropologist, author, and speaker of my generation, who penned these words to be read at her funeral after her death. To the living, I'm gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I am at peace, and to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest and its grand majesty, remember me. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, in your thoughts, in your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone. And we will always think of our Jerima. Amanda?
Remember me, what appropriate words as we come now to the time in our gathering when we celebrate the love at the heart of all things by breaking bread with one another in memory of Jesus. For Christians, this is the time of Holy Communion, one of the two sacraments celebrated by the United Church of Christ. We can think of a sacrament as an outward manifestation of an inward or invisible grace, a ritual in which the gap between the human and the divine closes, a moment in which we connect intimately with God, however we understand God, in the most common of human things, bread and grape juice. Friends on Zoom, if you want to participate in communion and you have not assembled your communion elements, now would be a good time to do so. At this communion table, which is set for all people, we find traditional Christians, decidedly non-traditional Christians, people of other faiths, and secular people. And we all break bread and share the cup together. And in that act, our differences fall away, and we become part of one larger community. This table has always been open to all people who seek joy and justice and wonder, whatever their creeds or doubts or failings. So this table is for all of us. If you want to partake of this meal is for you. If you are hungry for love, this bread is for you. If you are thirsty for justice, this cup is for you. Whatever you make of the story behind communion or its rituals, you are welcome to join us if you want to do so. The language we will be using will be bread of life and cup of blessing. I think that language is broad enough to welcome all of us to it. We praise the Holy One who has set this table for us, who invites us to justice and joy, who is our source and our hope and our rest. We praise sacred love, the heart within our hearts, the depth within our depths. It is right to give thanks and praise to our Maker. And so we lift up our hearts in joy and gratitude. We remember that the night before Jesus died at the hands of an unjust empire, he had supper with his friends. He took bread and blessed it, saying, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, Lord our God, sovereign of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. He broke the bread and gave it to them, saying, Here is holy sustenance, a reminder of the good earth and its good gifts. Whenever you eat this bread, do so in memory of me and all I have taught you. After supper, Jesus took the cup and gave thanks to God for it, saying, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pari hagofen. Blessed are you, Lord our God, sovereign of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. He shared the cup with them, saying, This is the cup of blessing poured for you. Whenever you drink this cup, do so in memory of me and the beautiful dream I have shared with you. With this bread and this cup, we celebrate the life and work of Jesus, and we offer our lives to you, loving God. Send your Holy Spirit on us and on these gifts, so that we, partaking in these gifts, may become gifts to the world. Amen. At Vista Grande, we partake of as open a communion table as we possibly can. I'll say it again, everyone is welcome to this table, no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey or what you believe or what you don't believe. In order to minimize barriers, we use grape juice rather than wine, and we use gluten-free, dairy-free, nut-free bread. We're working on bread-free bread, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. So, the gifts of God for the people of God, and all of us are the people of God. Come, for all things have been made ready. We will first share the elements with Jerima and her family, and we will then invite everyone else who would like to come forward. Bread of life. Bread of life. And you're welcome to put the used cups over there when you're done. Bread of life. At this time, anyone who would like to receive is welcome to come forward. Bread of life. As we conclude this time of embodied sharing, we are grateful for this ritual and all it offers us, for this opportunity to break bread together, and for everything we are to one another as we strive to reassemble a broken and beautiful world. As you have been offered joy and love in this symbolic meal, I invite you to be a source of joy and love in these challenging times. Now I will invite Reverend Deborah Tinsley to offer a moment of gratitude.
As we've gathered here today, we do not diminish the reality that this impending loss is great for each of us, for all of us who know Jerima, who were privileged to love and appreciate her life. There will be times in the future where you might find yourself turning to her out of a familiar, comfortable, pleasurable, and voluntary habit. And the realization that she's not there might bring a tidal wave of emotion. We, her family and friends, may find ourselves reaching for the phone to tell her something funny or to share something we know that would mean something to her, and she won't be there. And this will take time to get used to. It will help in ways that we cannot understand if in those moments you do make a call to a family or friend of Jerima and share your thoughts and let them know that for you, as for them, she will be with you forever, if you remember. And using the United Church of Christ fight song, to be God's representatives, workers, and it's from Micah that we know what we'll be doing in the future. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God? Jerima does this, has done this, has not so much walked humbly with her God as much as she danced impatiently, energetically, with an invitation for us to take her hand and join her in the glorious fun, the adventure of life, making the change to help bring God's vision of life to its flourishing with justice and with mercy, here and now. And if you can keep in your mind all the best that Jerima has invited us to share in, and in turn offer that to all you meet, then her hopes and her dreams and her light will live on through all of us. And your lives will be loved in the promise of our beloved who gave her to us and gives us life. I invite all of you who are comfortable with prayer to join me in a prayer, and if not, just be present with the sacred being in this space that we have made holy by our gathering. We offer the thoughts of our hearts to the divine, to the source of being. as we contemplate the eventual release of our dear sister Jerima from that which is finite and limited to that which is unlimited, eternal. We know that the moment of her going weighs heavily on all of us as she is leaving. Eventually, given time, this heaviness will fade, and for that we're grateful. For it is not with sadness or loss that we come together today. We come in celebration of a life well lived. We come in joy for all she is to each of us, and we come to wish her well on her journey. We know that you, the source of all of our being and the love we live into, did not lose her when you gave her to us, and we do not lose her by her return to you. You have taught us that life is eternal and love cannot die. So death is only a horizon, is only the limit of our sight. Open our eyes to the beauty and grace around us in the loving kindness, and experience the opportunities to bring light into darkness, in the certain hope that your grace resides with us to empower and lead us all the days of our lives. In comfort and in hope, we offer from our hearts the gratitude to know such grace in our lives, comforted by this time together with Jerima and empowered by her Spirit to live on in all we say and do, in who we are, in our world, in hope, love, and peace. Amen.
Traditionally, the pastor closes times like this by asking the holy to bless the gathered community. Today, we end instead by recognizing the many ways in which Jerima has done the work of the holy for decades by offering her blessing to us and to so many others. May we in turn go out and bless the world by continuing Jerima's good work. May we remain grateful for who she is and all that she has done to make the world a better place. And may the spirit of justice, in whatever way we encounter that spirit, fuel our passion and our fierce kindness so that Jerima lives on in the difference each of us makes. Amen.